Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back. This video, we are looking at the NASCAR picks. NBA is in the middle of the All-Star break. Have the All-Star game tonight at 8 o'clock, but looks like NASCAR is going to be the sport of the day today. It's starting at 3:30. I have some big tournaments across the site, so go ahead and kind of break it down for you guys. So let's get into it. As always, appreciate you guys to the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. You can follow me on Twitter at the DFS Process. Check out the website, dfsprocess.net, if you want to join for any of the sports. Most of the baseball package is that starting in a few weeks. So let's get started here. Thing with NASCAR I like to do is look at how they've done at this type of course. It's Las Vegas Motor Speedway. It's the Pennzoil 400, 267 laps here in this one. So looking back at these drivers and the history at this course since a couple years ago, a little over 3 years ago, February 2018, we see that the best drivers at this course have been Kevin Harvick, who has one win in 6 races, 5 top 10s, average finish of 10 points, basically 11. And then one of those races didn't even finish. That could have been even better. We see Joey Logano has 2 wins here in the past 6 races. We see Kurt Busch won the most recent time in September of 2020. Keselowski's done really good here. Truex. So there's been a lot of the top end drivers have done really well here. I don't think you can go wrong with many of them. Harvick is at the pole. If you look back at um, the most recent one here in September, we saw Kurt Busch take the checkered flag. In that one, even though he didn't even start in the top 10, but basically looking at these drivers, if you want to sort by top 10s, it's Harvick, Truex, Logano, Keselowski, all have 5 top 10s in the last 6 races here. If we look at the pricing on Draftkings, we see Kyle Busch is the most expensive driver. He's starting off at 14th place, which is a nice spot to start for a top-end driver that gives you some place differential upside. But I think there's a couple of other guys that I prefer a little bit more just based on the price tag. Like Truex is a couple $100 cheaper, has a chance to lead more laps at the start of the race. Blaney is starting 26th. He's done pretty well here. He looks like a really nice option to get to like at least double digit place differential like spots in this one. Starting 26, really good chance of finish. I think in the top 15, maybe top 10. And then Kevin Harvick, he's at the pole here. If we look at the laps led here, he's leading everybody by a wide margin. He's led 455 laps here in the last 6 races. Then it's Joey Logano. Both guys are in great spots here. Harvick is only 9,700. He's one of my favorite guys on the slate on DraftKings. And then Logano is $10,000 starting 15th. I think he gives you upside to get in the top 5. That would be huge. He could even lead some laps here. So I think Logano Harvick combo gives you that upside as Harvick can really lead a lot in the beginning of the race. Maybe Logano takes over in the end of the race, but you still get enough upside out of Harvick. And even though he's starting first, so you need him to finish at least in the top like 3, so you don't lose a ton of points in that department. I think he can make up for it in terms of leading a lot of laps, and he is one of the favorites in this race to even win. So I like Harvick. I love Logano. I love Blaney as well, starting 26th. In the 9K range, you can kind of get some of your guys starting in the back to give you some like upside to move up, like Matthew Benedetto. He's done decently well here. If we search him up, he's average finish of 15th, starting 25th, so gives you about like at least 10 points, 10 spots upside here to move up. Based on his track record, I love Almirola. He's $8,600. He's a pretty top end guy in terms of being pretty consistent. He's not gonna wreck like crazy like Ricky Stenhouse, so you're pretty safe with him. And you feel like if you look at how he's done here, done pretty well. He's average finish of 12th, 3 top 10s in 6 races, 5 top 20s. Led a couple laps, but nothing crazy. But now he's been average start is 15th. Now he's starting all the way back at 28th. I think he looks like a really good option out of anybody that's starting 25th or further back. Almirola, Matthew Benedetto, give you some upside to move up. Blaney, like Jones, you have a lot of guys that can move up. I think Almirola, Blaney, Di Benedetto are the top 3 in that category. In the 8K range, we can kind of, I'm not really looking at Byron. I'm not really looking at like Bowman. I think maybe you can go to Bush 81 if you wanted to. Christopher Bell, Tyler Reddick. Reddick's looked really good so far this season. And then the cheaper 7K range, I'd still probably lean to Eric Jones over Bubba Wallace or over Chastain. Just even though he's in a worse car this season, I just think that he over time will probably figure some things out, and uh, I just think that he's a guy that I trust a little bit more than the other two. And then in the 6K range, we'll probably need to get some savings. Michael McDowell, unbelievable start to the season, 4 top 10s, even had a win. Um, that was in a couple weeks ago. The Daytona 500, he came out on top after that thing started out as a crash fest. But I don't feel comfortable. He's starting fifth, so it does give you some upside just because he's done pretty well this season and he's only 6,000. But when I play McDowell, it's if he's starting like in at least like 15th or further back. So I'd go to Corey LaJoie over him. I'd probably go to Ryan Preece, who's also started off the season well. Uh, and then I don't really touch a lot of these drivers that are all the way down here. They just kind of hang around in the back. If there's a crash fest like Daytona, then you can kind of go to some of them just because they could, as long as they don't wreck, they can finish higher than some of the other guys that are starting at the top. But in this one, I don't really think that'll be the case. So I think going to like Corey LaJoie's couple of tough races after starting off the season well. But I think it's a decent spot for him to get back on track at least. He's finally starting pretty far back. He started 25th last week, but before that 7th, 16th, 17th, nothing like those types of weeks you don't want to play LaJoie. But when he's starting in the 30th, 33rd, gives you some upside to move up. So these are the four that I feel really good about. At the top end, it's Harvick, Logano for me. Blaney is the third guy that I'm really looking at. In the 9K range, it's Matty Benedetto. In the 8K range, it's like definitely Almirola is my favorite. 7K range, it's probably gonna still be like Jones as a value play, Bell, maybe Kurt Busch still. And then for value, it's like LaJoie. You can maybe look to Cole Custer, Ryan Preece, and that's pretty much it. So pretty much it for DraftKings. Just wanted to give you guys a quick rundown. I know some people are going to be new playing NASCAR without NBA today, so let's go ahead and talk about FanDuel. All right, FanDuel, I think they kind of have the pricing a little bit better. Well, at least kind of more accurate of what I would have thought. Harvick at the pole should be the most expensive driver. DraftKings has Kyle Busch, which I don't really get because Kyle Busch hasn't done crazy good here. I mean, he's been fine, but he's definitely behind guys like Harvick, Logano, Truex. Just looking at the driver ratings here. So it would still be Kevin Harvick for me as the guy that I want to get to. I like Truex, but I think I like Logano a little bit more just because he's starting 15th. And then it would definitely probably be getting down a bit to Ryan Blaney, who's 10-7, starting 26. That would be my third guy that I want to get to above 10,000. And then DraftKings has Kyle Busch all the way down to 10-5, but he looks better on FanDuel than he does on DraftKings. And then for value here, we need to go cheap. It's Matthew Benedetto is 7,800. You have Aric Almirola, 7,500, starting 28th. He looks like him and Di Benedetto are the two guys that I'm really looking at as value plays. And then if you wanted to or needed to go even cheaper, you can maybe look at Eric Jones, only 4,700. You can look to like Corey LaJoie, who's 2,500, which is pretty crazy. But don't really need to go that cheap unless you want to pay up for 3 or 4 drivers, which I think you definitely could. But on FanDuel, it's Harvick, Logano, and then I'll put in Almirola. 7,500, I think he gives you plenty of upside. You can go up for another driver, then go down. But yeah, I think these three are the ones that I'm sticking with. So that's it for this one. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed. Thank you for watching. Best of luck, and catch you all later.